Okay. Let me, what would be the, presume would be F2. Okay. Alt, return, or Alt enter, whatever the fuck. Oh, and then resume F2. Right. Yeah. Okay, there we go. I wanted to make sure it did this correctly. Hold your controller in a unique way, or die. Game auto saves after each scene. Do not turn off your console during scene transitions. Okay. It's so quiet. Do you think they forgot? Forget of royal visitation. No one could make such a blunder, princess. Well, I guess I should just go in then. What? What? No! Not my boy Talon! Fuck! March 17th, 9:37 a.m. Hyrule Grand Court. Defendant lobby number 3. You'd think after so many years of doing this, I'd be used to the stress. So why am I shaking? Gah, I guess it's a lot worse when it's your friend's life that's on the line. Come on, gotta look professional. She can't see you like this. Speaking of her, though, where is she anyway? Hey, you! Over there! Huh? What is it, attorney? The trial isn't starting yet. But it will be soon, right? Would you happen to know why my client isn't here yet? I didn't get to speak much with her when she was arrested, so I was hoping I could at least exchange a word with her now. Well, you weren't the only one with the idea. I believe she is currently in the prosecutor's lobby. You wanted to talk to her as well. What? What is up with this guy? He bars me from the crime scene, blocks my detention center visits, and now this? Not to worry, she will definitely be here before the trial. Great, that'll be a joy. Great! It'll be a joyous 5 minutes indeed. Fucking by Discovery mix of the Lon Lon Ranch song. Yeah. But there's nothing I could do but wait. I'm kind of going for a CDI Link voice, but if it ends up morphing into something else, that's fine. I can just give him my dumbass protagonist voice. Okay, this is ridiculous. How much longer can he keep her? See, there she is. No need to get all worked up. Is something wrong? Did I hear shouting? So much for looking professional. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. This is Malin. Ever since we met in Hyrule Castle Town all those years ago, we've been great friends. Her heart's in the right place. I know she cared deeply about her father. If everything's fine, why do you look so worried? Well, how'd the investigation go? Did you find anything? Yes, the investigation. I found tons of, groundbreaking stuff. Particularly that my opponent's a real scumbag. What did the prosecutor want from you anyway? Well, it was mostly just threats. He kept explaining in detail. Because the weird space between the X and the P, I almost read that like explaining. In detail what'll happen to me if I'm found guilty. Doesn't sound like a vital discussion that needed to happen right before the trial. He probably just did that so he wouldn't have as much time to talk. You believe in me, right? I didn't do it. I'd never. Well! Of course I believe in you. Although, I'll be honest, things aren't looking very good right now. This is so on point so far, by the way. I just want to fucking mention the presentation for like a stupid Ace Attorney game on the Nintendo 64. It's like, it's 1-to-1. This is exactly what it would look like. This is nuts. What's that you've got there? Oh, this is just a pictograph of Father I carry around. I just can't believe he's gone. I wish I knew how to cheer her up right now. I'm not very good at handling emotional clients. Hey, you know, that pictograph could be really useful for the trial. Oh, how so? Well, you look so happy together. I can present it to show that you two had a great relationship. You really think so? Ah, well, here you go then. Good. Malon's pictograph added to the court record. I like the detail of calling it a pictograph. Yeah, that's really good. At least I'll be walking there with something other than my badge. But wait, why shouldn't we fuck me in the face? We shouldn't just be idly chatting. Anyway, there's not much time left. I know it's hard to talk about, but could you tell me what actually happened? I don't stand much chance if I don't know your version of the story. I understand. Unfortunately, the trial is starting. Defendant attorney, please enter the courtroom at once. Shouldn't have said that stuff about having no chance. Alright, everything will be fine. Because I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. The prosecutor's been playing me for a fool since this began, but sooner or later his arrogance will be his undoing. Let's head inside. Oh. My name is Link. I've been a defense attorney for the last 7 years. I've won my fair share of cases, and lost some too, but this one is personal. There's so much at stake here. Not only do I have to save Malin's life, I've got to find out who did this to Talon. Talon, he was always so kind. He didn't deserve this. I need to do him justice. I can't lose this. Oh, okay. It's, I guess, what you'd expect. Court is now in session for the trial of Malin of Lon Blonde Ranch. The defense is ready, Your Honor. I sincerely doubt that. What were they thinking, pitting me against some pathetic kid? Pathetic kid? What gives you the right to... Still your tongue. You bring shame upon the fine color of your... Fuck. You bring shame upon the fine color of your hair, vile woman. Before long, the world shall know the horrible deeds you've committed. Let us not prolong the inevitable. Shall we begin? No, this court is no place to be exchanging space-changing insults. Since the prosecution seems ready as well, let's hear their opening statement. British spelling of color spotted. Oh no, it's bad! Twitch is eating shit! Twitch! Twitch, you fucking sad sack of shit! Okay, I'll, is it coming back, or what? What's it doing? It's not coming back? Okay! Hold on, I guess. I'll BRB until it's fixing itself. I don't know, goddamn. Okay, Twitch, don't piss me off. The opening statement shall also be the closing one. I gotta be very careful I don't just evolve into my fucking Eggman voice. The girl did it, it's obvious. What was the fucking tone I was doing earlier? She killed her own father in cold blood. Something like that, I don't know. Oh, so she could have the ranch to herself. Holy shit, his animations are so good! Couldn't wait for the old fool to die naturally, could you, you greedy little rat? Your Honor, you can't allow this man to verbally abuse a defendant like this. Since she committed murder, kid. She deserves every bit of scorn she gets. I do believe a little less commentary wouldn't go amiss. Bah. I assure you, old man, you will change your opinion once you see all the damning evidence. Who is this guy? How can you speak to the judge like that? Ganondorf Dragmire. Looks like I've been lucky to avoid meeting this man until now. The stories I've heard about him must be true. A boorish barbarian of a man hailing from the Gerudo province. Apparently he prides himself on the nearly clean streak he's cultivated for decades. All while disrespecting everyone in the court, including the judge. I've even heard some attorneys refer to him as the King of Evil. Definitely has that look, at the very least. Who wears full armor to court? Very well, please present your case to the court. You don't seem to like me talking, so I'll just let the detective present the basics. Bring Impa of the Sheikah Force to the stand. Well, here we go. The first battle. I know Impa. She's quite a competent detective. Which worries me. Please let her have made a mistake just this once. Alright, state your name and whatever it is you pretend to do. You never change, do you, prosecutor? Any possible change would be for the worse. Now stop wasting time. Name an occupation. Oh, man. Very well. I am Impa, head detective of the Sheikah Force, Homicide Division. True for now, at least. Well, what are you waiting for? Start talking. You were the one assigned to this case, so you know all about it. What calamity has befallen our fair kingdom? Still can't be bothered to give a proper opening statement. I suppose I could do the prosecutor's job for him this time, for the sake of an unbiased look. Please go on ahead, detective. Fucking music. The incident happened early yesterday morning on Lon Lon Ranch, a local supplier of goods located just south of Castletown. The current owner of the homestead, Talon, was found dead in his ranch house. The tragic loss of our kingdom for sure. I have seen the man around town, Castletown, a number of times delivering goods. Dude, the music! Holy shit! Quite. The owner was a rather important figure in the local community. In any case, we were also alerted to the scene of the murder by the Royal Guard, who were there on official business. Official business? What kind? As I understand, the ranch provides the kingdom with vital services. To ensure it is operating as it should, and as a gesture of appreciation, the Crown orders a visitation to the ranch every year. I see. A scheduled annual visit. Continue, detective. When the Sheikah Force arrived, they found the victim bleeding out onto the floor. Next to him lay his daughter Malin, breathing but unresponsive. After thorough investigation, we arrested her, as she was deemed the only possible culprit. That about covers the gist of what happened. Very nice and... Succinct. Succinct? Nope. Succinct? Succinct? Nope. Hold on. I gotta... The fuck is your word, bro? Succinct. Especially if something written or spoken briefly and clearly expressed. Okay. Got it. Keep that up and perhaps you will keep your job. Oh, I don't think the good detective here has to worry much about that, given she is the head of the department. Which reminds me, why is the head of detectives herself on a case like this? Or are the other detectives unavailable? That'd be because I have been assigned to this case by order of the King of Hyrule himself. The King himself assigned you? That doesn't happen very often, does it? You are correct, Your Honor. British. I'm not usually involved in field work like this. This time, however, the king felt it necessary because of who is involved. Who is involved? Is the death of a ranch worker really such a concern for the king? Well, as I said, Lon Lon Ranch is a very important supplier of goods, to be sure. But that's not who I meant. Imagine the king wanted the top investigators. I imagine the king wanted the top investigators on this job because it was the royal princess herself who discovered the crime scene. I saw a fucking Inuki up there! Order! I will have order! The royal princess Zelda witnessed the crime. Ha! And there you have it! The case rides on the princess's own words! To doubt it would be to doubt your own royalty! This is bad. I can't really object to that. Very well, if the princess is testifying today, it's better we don't make her needlessly wait. Detective, please testify about exactly why the defendant was arrested. The fucking Hylian fucking text. The reasons for arrest. It is with regret that I agree with Dragmire. All the evidence points towards this girl being the culprit. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside of the ranch house. There were only 3 people on the ranch: the victim, the defendant, and a worker who has an alibi for the time of the crime. The defendant was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Furthermore, she was holding a weapon. Without a doubt, that's what was used to kill the victim. She seems like such a bright girl. It's most unfortunate. Your Honor, I would like to submit these pieces of evidence to the court. First, I have the autopsy report performed by the Crown's top coroner. Okay. Here's what we determined to be the murder weapon, which we took from the defendant's hands. Saw. To make sure we had the correct weapon, we conducted a very thorough investigation. Naturally, we searched everyone and thoroughly examined the ranch and its vicinity. Nothing unusual was found, but to be safe, we also checked the ranch's inventory list to see whether anything was missing. The list matches the items we found on the ranch exactly, and nothing but the saw had fresh blood on it. That does sound quite compelling. This must have been a truly terrifying scene. Dying from a wound made by a weapon like this is extremely painful. This only helps to prove the defendant's viciousness. At this rate, they're going to paint Mal into some heartless monster. There was one more thing I feel I should mention for the sake of completeness. Shortly after we arrived at the ranch, a courier showed up to take some milk shipments. Of course, business must go on. Is this really necessary to enter into evidence, though? The shipments did end up leaving the ranch, so I feel it bears mentioning. Were the contents checked before you let them go? Naturally. Who do you take us for? Even though the worker handling the shipments didn't get quite worked up about it, we cracked all the boxes open to check what was inside. In the end, it did turn out to only be milk bottles, so we let them through. Very well. Thank you for your thoroughness, Detective. Milk shipments at the court record. So, what happens now? Well, this is where I step in and perform a cross-examination. Ah, great. How does that work? Huh? Could you explain what you're going to be doing? Can't hurt to go over this again. There's no time! Sorry, but there's no time for that. We have to get started right away. Oh, alright then. I'll just try my best to follow along. You know what you're doing. I sure hope so. This might not be easy. The defense is ready to cross-examine the witness. Bah! A waste of time. I sincerely hope you're not implying the standard court procedure is a waste of time, Mr. Dragmire. In any case, we're ready, defense. With a C. Please begin the cross-examination. Yeah, little... the portraits. Okay. Great this was regret. I agree with Dragmire. Okay. What makes you think she's the culprit? She's just about to tell you. Keep quiet and listen. Right. Sorry. Indeed, as I was saying. We determined that the murder definitely took place inside the ranch house. And just how did you do that? It's quite simple. There was no blood found anywhere else. Had the victim been attacked at some other location, we'd expect a trail of it leading to the scene. Couldn't the killer just cleaned it all up? Certainly not. The path to the ranch house at Lon Lon Ranch is not paved in any way. Getting blood off the ground would require disturbing the soil. Naturally, you found nothing of the sort. Ah! There wouldn't have been enough time to pull that off anyway. Likely true. Right, it sounds like the location of the crime scene is pretty firm, but I'm not giving up yet. Only 3 people, victim, defendant, worker with an alibi. 3 people, you say? Look at his stupid-ass face. And I guess that would have to be Mr. Ingo. Let me stop you before you start getting too excited. If you had listened to the rest of what the detective said, you'd notice she mentioned an alibi. Indeed, we're pretty certain that the ranch worker couldn't have been involved. Well, what is this alibi then? You might remember that I brought up some outgoing milk shipments. Well, the worker, Ingo, was in charge of them. He left the ranch house first thing in the morning and was busy preparing the shipments after that. Is that so? Surely you could have gotten away from that for one really quick little murder. I can't fucking read. Bah, this wouldn't be just a quick little murder, as you so crudely put it. He'd have to have taken steps to hide his involvement too. There was definitely not enough time for that. Unfortunately, I agree. Preparing a shipment is a lot of work. You have to milk all the cows, clean all the bottles, pour the milk out into them, arrange them all in the crates, and finally load it all up onto a wagon. Usually I had to shit and eat ass, and I can't read. Usually I had to do it together with Father to finish before the courier arrived. The shipments were already ready when we arrived at the ranch. When we checked the boxes, they were all fully loaded with filled milk bottles. So this Ingo was able to do the work of 2 people all on his own? Isn't that a bit odd? Odd or not, he evidently did just that. Clearly he's not a man dedicated to the job. Or perhaps the girl and her father are just very inefficient. This whole thing seems awfully suspicious if you ask me, but I guess I have nothing to dispute it with. Pena was found unconscious right in front of the victim, who was bleeding out onto the floor. Mullen fainted? Correct. We couldn't get her to wake up for a long time. Eventually, we decided to administer a healing fairy so she could be questioned. I guess finding the body was just that much of a shock, huh? Ha! Probably just pretending. Tried to make it look like she had merely found the body. In any event... Furthermore, she holding a weapon, just to be a killed victim. And how can you be so sure of this? Look at the autopsy report. Deep irregular wound made with a sharp metal object. Just holding. The saw was the only sharp implement in the ranch house that could produce such a wound. And as I've already mentioned, we also looked closely at all the other sharp things on the ranch. None had recent blood on them. That still doesn't necessarily mean that the saw was the murder weapon. Maybe the real culprit hid the real one. No, yeah? Prove it then. Show us the real murder weapon. Well, I definitely don't have any way to do that. Still, something bothers me about that saw. So you have nothing? What a waste of time. bright girl. It's most unfortunate. She sure is. We've known each other for years. Yet she murdered her father in cold blood. How curious. Perhaps you're just bad judges of character, both of you. No way! Just give me some time and I'm going to prove it. Huh. You see anything wrong yet? Well, usually it's difficult to find anything wrong with the basic facts of the case. That said, I do think I saw one small thing. Shut the fuck up, Link. Really? That's great! It sure is, because I've got to poke all the holes I can before the princess gets here. Alright. Yeah, attorney badge. Childhood photo of mom with her father. State of view. Yeah, it sure is a photo. Autopsy report, deep rarely wound. Victim died from loss of blood. No later than 8 o'clock a.m. Saw a supposed murder weapon found in Mullen's hands clean of blood. Ranch inventory, list of equipment on the ranch. Huh. Rakes, 4 pieces. Garden hose, 4 pieces. Buckets, 8 pieces. Hammers, 2 pieces. Knives, 6 pieces. Wood saws, 1 piece. Saddles, 8 pieces. Horseshoes, 28 pieces. Axes, 3 pieces. Brooms, 2 pieces. Sides, shovels, flails, trowels, post pounders, drag harrows, water hoses, wheelbarrows, horse carts, towing harnesses, cow nose rings. That's all by Ingo. Okay. And it's her fucking... I think... What's... This is... Like, I know why they did this, but it's just interesting because this is the, This is Cremia's Majora's Mask 3D art, is what this is. Malin, age 27, my longtime friend and defendant in this case. Talon, deceased, a victim, owner of London Ranch and Malin's loving father. Judge, age, jolly old man who has presided over some of my cases. Gendorf Dragbar, age 59, prosecutor assigned to the case. Rude to others, easily angered. Impa, age 34, head of the detectives assigned to investigate the case. Okay. So the saw. Found Malin's hands clean of blood. I see. Oh, it puts a little check mark on the things you pressed. Good. Okay. This seems like a fairly large oversight. I just want to make sure of something. It's in a little paper. The state the saw is the state the saw is currently in is how you found it at the crime scene. Reading is hard? That's correct. Reading is hard. That's strange, considering how much the victim bled out and how deep his wound was. Why is there no blood on the supposed murder weapon? Guys, it's his objection theme. I love how he still has his stupid fucking gloves. His fingerless fucking sword hero gloves. Is that all you have? Huh? Naturally, the prosecution has an explanation for why the saw is clean. Behold, this cloth was found in the defendant's other hand. As you can plainly see, it is stained with blood. The defendant simply wiped the murder weapon in a futile attempt to hide her involvement. I love this so much. Oh my god. If Malin was trying to hide her involvement, why didn't she just leave the crime scene? Bah! Obviously, she was trying to hide the body before the royal visitation arrived at the ranch. Unfortunately for her, it just so happened that the delegation arrived quite a bit sooner. Fuck you in the face, quite a bit earlier than scheduled. In a panic, she quickly wiped the saw off and pretended to faint to make it look like she had stumbled upon the scene. Gah! Young lady, things are not looking very good for you right now. The court accepts the blooded cloth into evidence. But, like, you don't quickly wipe something free of blood. You guys know how blood works, right? So, what's the story with this cloth? Well, as I was doing a final check around the ranch, I noticed that a part of the fence around the horse paddock was damaged. Not entirely sure what happened, but sometimes one of the horses just gets a bit too rowdy, you know? Right. Anyway, I didn't want to bother Mr. Ingo about it, so I tried to cut up a new rail by myself to patch it up. Then the saw slipped and I cut my hand open. Oh goodness, are you okay? Well, it wasn't that bad. I did bleed quite a lot though, so I used the cloth to quickly bandage the wound. I was actually going into the ranch house to ask Father to help me with the fence. Do we have forensics in this medieval fantasy universe? Can we get that blood checked? A likely story. And impossible to verify now, of course. The Sheikah Force had to use a fairy on the defendant to get her out of her supposed unconsciousness. I do have to give her some credit. She is one cunning woman. Stop saying woman, bro. She knew that would explain the sudden lack of any wound on her hand. Oh, why yes, fairies are wonderful. Just the other day I slammed my hand in the car door, with a gavel, and one took the paint off immediately. Great, glad to know they're great. Glad to know they're used for some such important things. Isn't the meme that, like, fairies die when you use them? But dang it. Too bad there's no way to tell whose blood is on the cloth. Alright, confirmed. The forensics aren't real. I do believe this matter has been settled. I'm ready to call my next witness. Uh-oh. Is that all I can get out of her? You've served your purpose, Sheikah. Be gone. Fine. But you'd best treat Her Highness with respect, or I'll see to it that you spend the rest of the night in the dungeons. Do not presume to threaten me, Sheikah! A night of darkness and solitude would be nothing but comfort for me. Is that so? Then perhaps we should fill the dungeons with lit candles for the occasion. They're glaring daggers at each other. If this doesn't end soon, we're all in trouble. Order, order! I'm sure we'll treat the princess with utmost respect. You may step down, detective. I'll be very surprised if it's like Gandalf's just an asshole, but he did not kill Talon or have anything to do with it. If both him and Ingo are like red herrings or whatever. This case has already made me wary with all the pointless jabber. The time is ripe to deal the final blow. I call Her Highness Princess Zelda of Hyrule to the stand! Also, I love that Zelda, it's not just Ocarina Zelda, they like designed it off of her Link to the Past art and stuff. Is something the matter? Why is everyone quiet all of a sudden? Your Highness! I believe we're all just a bit uncertain on how to proceed. It is quite the honor to have such an esteemed guest in these halls. Bah! In the face of the law, the princess is no different from a peasant! Name and occupation, now! The prosecution will behave. I will not have any derogatory statements directed at the princess. Derogatory? I simply wish not to waste any more time. We must employ proper procedure. Oh, man. It is all right, Detective. I believe the prosecution does have a point. In the eyes of the law, we are all equals. On this stand, I am just another witness. I should not be getting any special treatment. Very admirable, Your Highness. We can all rest easy knowing that the Hyrule is destined to have such a wise monarch in its future. Yes, indeed. I eagerly await the day when our next ruler takes the throne and reshapes the kingdom in their image. You flatter me, prosecutor. Now then, I believe I was asked for my name and occupation. Reading is hard. I am Zelda, current princess of the Hyrule and heir apparent to the throne. Marvelous, your highness. Before we begin, I would just like to know, why were you at Lon Lon Ranch to witness this terrible incident? It is simple, really. Lon Lon Ranch is Hyrule Castle Town's biggest food supplier. Not only that, but the ranch also equips Hyrule's royal guard with the finest of horses. Every year, the royal family makes a visit as a gesture of goodwill and to ensure the quality of the steeds. Wow, I didn't know your horses were used by the royal guard. Yep, we work hard every year to make sure they're in the best possible condition. See, if I was a giant like stinky ass, I would just give Malin a fucking southern accent, but I really don't want to do that. Father loved to boast about it to all the other ranch owners. Ha! Knowing talent, I'm sure he did. How unfortunate the ranch may no longer meet the Crown's high standards under new management. The royal family has a backup, I trust. We are looking for one. Naturally, those standards are quite high. Yes, of course. Now then, please describe what you saw on the day of the incident. Very well. Here I go. Here I go is fucking stupid. The scene behind the door. I arrived at Lon Lon Ranch a little after 8 a.m., accompanied by my loyal guards. I remember being surprised at how quiet everything was. There was nobody there to welcome us. I could sense that something was wrong. I opened the door to the ranch house and went inside. The room was mostly empty. There was a table with some kind of crystal bottle on top of it. But in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. I was overcome with fear and I screamed. I'll never forget what I saw that day. I heard that Talon and his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. What? Oh my, you saw the very moment the victim was killed. There you go. Decisive testimony. As there is no need to doubt the princess's statement, I call for the judge to make a ruling right away. This is fucking music. Hey, now, hold on. I didn't get to cross-examine the witness yet. You haven't, fool, because there is no need. Did you not hear one word of what I said? Didn't you just say we should follow all the procedures and treat the princess like any other witness? This is the defense's right. I haven't seen what fucking Gandalf said there, Rip. I believe the defense has a point. They do have every right to perform a cross-examination no matter who was testifying. I was quite looking forward to this part myself. I've only ever read about court proceedings in the Royal Library. That being said, I will not tolerate any reckless accusations towards the princess. Is that clear? Naturally, Your Honor. How am I going to cross-examine the princess? This isn't going to end well. Oh my god, they're going to have, at some fucking point, Link's going to utter the words, oh, excuse me, princess. You know what's going to happen. What's gotten into the prosecutor? That seemed like a rather intense outburst. Well, I do have a guess. Oh? Because of the princess's status, it's possible that Dragmire didn't have an opportunity to discuss her testimony with her. That might mean that this testimony is a surprise even to him. This could be my chance. Before we begin, there was just one thing that caught my attention. I believe the princess mentioned seeing some kind of glass bottle at the crime scene. That would be this, I presume. Why, yes, that is exactly it. What is that? Oh, this is the bottle of perfume that Father intended to give to Her Highness when she arrived. He quickly rode out to town to get it at the last moment. We didn't know that the princess was coming instead of the king until only about 2 hours before the visitation. Oh, how thoughtful. He really did not need to bother himself so. As fascinating as this all is, the prosecution doesn't believe it's relevant to the case. It's good to have a full picture of the crime scene. The defense requests the bottle be accepted into evidence. Bah! Desperate to latch onto every little thing, are you? Whatever. You can add to the evidence if it'll make you happy. No skin off my teeth. Or my In that case, the court accepts this bottle into evidence. Now then, defense, begin your cross-examination. I love this stupid art. Arrived, Lon Ranch after 8, accompanied by loyal guards. If these guards were with Her Highness, why were they not called as a witness, as witnesses? We did question the guards, naturally. Apparently, they didn't get to see anything relevant. I was the only one to enter the crime scene. After seeing what was inside, I stood guard and insisted that no one be allowed inside until the Sheikah force arrived. I have read that preserving the scene, fuck my face, is vital. Quite correct. I'm sure the guards were absolutely thrilled with this order. Please proceed, witness. I'm being surprised. Everything was quiet. No one was there. Have you conducted these royal visitations in the past, Your Highness? No, this was my first one. Up until last year, my father was always the one to visit Lon Ranch. However, he decided I had to start preparing for all the royal duties that await me, and so I was to do it this time. You will doubtlessly perform admirably as ruler when the time comes. What happened when you got to the ranch house? Said something was wrong, opened the door of the ranch, went inside. The house, rather. And what then? Stop interrupting and let her get to the point. Defense? I believe I was clear about not badgering the witness. Try to calm down. See, that's crazy. You said nothing about badgering the witness. You only said I couldn't accuse her of anything. So, eat my ass. Room was empty, but there was mostly empty, but there was a table with a crystal bottle. You paid attention to something like that after seeing a murder princess? Well, I spent a rather long time in there waiting for the Sheikah force to arrive. Plus, that bottle is quite beautiful. It stood out. It just stood out. Reading is still hard. Yeah, in front of the table, a terrifying scene was unveiling. The defendant hacked at the ranch owner's chest with the saw she was holding. You were there at the exact time of the murder, Your Highness. That is correct. That's impossible. You're lying. The defendant will curb her outbursts. You're addressing royalty. This is really bad. What now? Accuse Zelda of the crime. Ask about the crime scene. Where were the victim and the defendant at this time? The ranch owner was in front of a little table that's directly across from the entrance door. The defendant was right in front of him and quickly fainted after attack. A large pool of blood started forming where the victim was. I had a rather good view of the whole scene. Right. It's unfortunate as it is as unfortunate as it is fortunate that you could see the whole thing in such detail. Now please continue. Should I ask something else? What was outside? Are you sure there wasn't anyone else at the ranch, Your Highness? No, the place looked empty. Lamabra would be executed on sight, shaking my head. It might be funny to select it. It might be funny, maybe, Lamau. Although I did later see a worker pull up a loaded wagon when the courier came asking about milk shipments. He caused a little bit of a scene when the Shikafor started inspecting it. That worker must have been somewhere else on the ranch, I suppose. The ranch is pretty large. Said worker was inside a building on the other side. It's quite understandable she wouldn't have seen him until later. Drat, this really doesn't give me a whole lot to work with. Should I ask about something else? And meeting 99% penalty. I'm honestly wondering if maybe the game doesn't even have a penalty system. Because, you know, it's a fucking text game. Let me just casually complain about Ace Attorney as a whole with its penalty system. Remember, if you game over defense, you must hold B to get to the point you were at again. That's basically all that happens. Will come with fear, and I screamed. I'll never forget what I saw that day. Are you sure you got a good look then, Your Highness? You didn't look away in panic? The princess was very brave to take control of the situation the way she did. There is no need to doubt what she saw. Yes, I suppose what she did was admirable. If only we had arrived earlier. Your Highness, don't blame yourself for this. If you arrived earlier, you could have been the one that got attacked. By me. You fuck. Ha! So you would have lashed out at anyone trying to stop you, huh? Despicable! That's not what she meant, and you know it. Princess, please go on. Very well. Her telling his daughter were incredibly kind. I cannot believe she would commit such horrible violence. Trust your heart, Your Highness. You know Malin didn't do this. What nonsense. Her heart, what do her organs have to do with anything? Oh, of course, evidence and testimony be damned just because we feel the defendant must be innocent. Oh, well, if you're sure and I declare today's verdict... Have you gone senile, old man? It was a joke, much like the arguments the defense has been presenting. Good. I can't believe the princess would lie like this. Yeah, it really is shocking. You don't believe her, right? Even if she's the princess, that means nothing. I didn't do it. To trust authority or your best friend. I'll need something very concrete to disprove what the princess is saying. Okay. Well. No, Slug. You're stupid. Managed to get to the princess spot just before the crime. Comes at the crime scene. Attention shows the social was holding. Let me see the profiles. Completely different art style. Oh, I didn't realize she was so fucking young. Her parents of the royal throne, the witness to the murder. I assume the perfume's gonna be the fucking evidence, but... Just a bottle of tea. Oh. No later than 8 a.m. Victim was already dead. A little after 8 a.m. So is it here, maybe? Yes. Your Honor, Your Highness, I believe I found something that doesn't quite match up with the facts. How dare you question the princess? You will let the defense speak, prosecutor. I think I see why he so desperately wanted to prevent this cross-examination now. Your Highness, you stated you arrived at the ranch shortly after 8 a.m., correct? Yes, the visit was scheduled for 8:30 exactly. We were quite a bit early. I see. That makes something you mentioned quite impossible. As stated by the autopsy report, the victim definitely died before 8 a.m. You couldn't have seen the defendant attack the ranch owner when you arrived, because the victim was already dead by then! Yeah. Order! Order! Yes, you've really caught her in a lie! Your Highness, what is the meaning of this? While I wholeheartedly respect and serve the crown, I will nonetheless not tolerate lies in my court. I have not lied, I suppose I did not see the exact moment it happened. I guess I only thought I did. Princess, this is a matter of life and death! I definitely saw the defendant there, though, along with the body. There's no one else who could have done it. I remember all the other details correctly. Fuck, reading. The body's on the floor, the pool of blood. You have to believe me! Perhaps it'll be best if Her Highness revises her testimony. That's not good. There's still not enough doubt to overturn this testimony. Yeah, I got to tone back the voice a little bit. I'll have to find something else or this case will be over. Hey guys, it's me, Surfer Bro Sonic. What I actually saw. I am sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. I did not see the actual moment of the attack, but it had to have happened shortly before I went to the ranch house. Miss Small and her father were the only ones at the scene of the crime, so she must be the culprit. I see, you only saw the aftermath of the scene, not the actual crime being committed. Very well, hopefully there are no issues in your testimony this time. I don't like little lying bitches in my court. Defense, it's time for your cross-examination. Sorry, I had to add the hardcore American localization dialogue. Sorry about that. Naturally, Your Honor. Dragmeyer still looks pretty angry. I bet he didn't expect such a blatant contradiction to pop up. If I could just find another one like that, the princess's testimony would become completely untrustworthy in the eyes of the judge. Sorry for embellishing the truth a little bit. Why did you do that, Your Highness? There's a life on the line here! I really am sorry. I suppose I got a bit too excited about being a witness in an actual murder trial. Really now? Most people hate testifying. Yes, well, the life of a princess is rather boring, you know. This is quite the break from the routine for me. You should just get a hobby then. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't mean to be a lying little bitch. That's the actual moment of the attack. In that case, it can't be conclusively proven that the defendant did it. Defense, did you exhaust your singular brain cell on that last contradiction you found? Holy fucking shit. Okay, it's screenshotted. Thank goodness. There's a death mountain's worth of evidence pointing to the defendant. Just because no one saw the actual moment of the crime doesn't mean anyone else could have done it. I think you're making a death mountain out of a death molehill. Shut up, Link, you're stupid. Had to have happened shortly before I went to the ranch house. Now, how can you be so sure of that, Princess? Well, when I entered the ranch house, the victim still had the murder weapon embedded into his body. What? It is obvious what that means, is it not? The killer did not even have enough time to try to hide the weapon. Yes, I might not have seen the murder firsthand, but I must have been very close to doing so. Oh my. This seems like a very important detail. I think it would be advisable for Her Highness to amend her testimony reading hard. Certainly, Your Honor. Interesting. Dragmire certainly doesn't look very happy about this development, does he? Thinking about it, I might just know why. The murder weapon was still stuck into the victim's body, after all. That doesn't necessarily mean that my client was the one to do it, though. What if someone else snuck in before Malin and the princess arrived? Well, I suppose... Lon Lon Ranch is surrounded by high walls, and the only way in is through a self-locking gate. Not very many people have a key to that gate, just the personnel and the crown. Well, someone could have forced their way in. Bah, if you wish to propose such a possibility, you must substantiate it with evidence. Do you have any proof? Oh, there is a penalty system. Shit. That another person showed up at the ranch house before the princess? No. I don't have anything of the sort. There must be another angle I can attack this from. Very well, witness, since the defense has wisely chosen to stay silent. Please continue your testimony. Miss Malin and her father were the only ones to see the crime. Must be the culprit. Are you sure Malin was the only person there other than the victim? From what I recall, there's an upstairs room at the ranch house. What if someone was hiding there? Don't be stupid, defense. If someone was hiding up there, the Sheikah force would have found them. I stood guard at the door the entire time. No one could have left. But what if they jumped out a window? But do not be ridiculous. Those windows are very high up. Actually, those windows can't even be opened. You have to break one to leave. Right. Well, it's a little more plausible than the last testimony she gave. Yes, I suppose it matches the detective's account, doesn't it? Still, I feel like something here sticks out like a sore thumb. Fucking sweating animation, man. Yeah, the little water drooplies are hard to see, but they are there. It is the saw, right? If it was stuck inside the... or wait. Okay. Yeah. I believe I found another reason to doubt the witness's words. It seems the prosecution sees what I'm getting at here. There was a bloody cloth discovered at the scene of the crime. The prosecution has argued before that it was used to wipe the saw clean. If the princess saw the saw lodged into Talon's body and the crime scene was left intact, then it couldn't have been wiped. Well, Prosecutor Dragmire, care to explain? Grrr! This is most perplexing. Your Highness, are you sure that's what you saw? Well, maybe the princess decided to pull the saw in a valiant yet futile attempt to save the victim. And then wipe the blade clean. Well, that would almost be like framing the defendant. Of course I did no such thing. Oh, her hands are behind her when she's doing this pose. I see. I thought they're like in front of her, like she's... Huh, okay, I get it now. I made sure the crime scene stayed intact. I guess I must have made up the memory about the saw sticking out of Mr. Talon as well. You idiotic girl! Do you even realize what you've done through your bumbling? I am sorry. I was just so excited to stand as a witness in court just this once. Whenever I tried telling my father about anything, he always seemed so disinterested. Just this once, I wanted to feel listened to. The defendant, it is clear that she did it. I just wanted to play a larger part in her capture. I am sorry for the trouble I have caused you all. Your Highness, the court is no place for silly games. As it stands, I'm afraid we'll have to strike your statements from the court record completely. Yes! I did it! The prosecution lost their key witness. Eat shit! And live to taste it. No, please wait. I have more to say. I was wrong about the crime scene. I still have not testified about what I saw afterwards. Bah! Why would we care about that? It's best that you leave and stop damaging my case with your idiocy. Even if you are not interested in my words, you might be interested in the evidence I found. What? Huh? Evidence? Evidence? Of course. While the Sheikah force investigated inside the ranch house, I looked around the rest of the ranch on my own. Why'd you have to go and do a thing like that? Sheikah, did you know about this? Of course I did. You did? I'll have your head for this! Order, order! What is the meaning of this, detective? Why have you withheld this from the court? It's quite simple. The princess specifically requested to prevent her finding on her own. What? And you agreed to this? This court is not some playground where children decide what evidence should be presented just because they have a crown! He's being rude about it, but I can't help but agree with Dragmire on this one. Also, I don't really buy this story. There's no way Impa would have allowed this. Believe me, I wasn't thrilled with the request either. However, after seeing the evidence in question, I didn't think it would be at all important to the case. Thus, I let the princess have her fun. This is highly irregular, not Maverick. I'm not sure how to feel about this. The prosecutor... naturally I object to this nonsense. If the detective thinks it's irrelevant, then this is probably just a waste of time. All the evidence points to the defendant. It's still clear she did it, even without a witness at the scene. I see. Defense. What do we do? If we object to presenting the evidence, then Dragmire loses his key witness. Plus, whatever the princess presents could be bad for our case, too. So we should agree with the prosecution? Well, on the other hand, we don't really have much to go on. This could be our only lead left. Well, don't keep us waiting. Surely you won't throw away all the progress you've made thus far. What do I do? I really hope this is the right choice. The defense requests that the evidence be presented. What? While I agree that the situation is irregular, not Maverick, we should still examine all evidence available. It would be silly to dismiss it as irrelevant without even seeing what it is. I do believe you have a point, Defense. However, I must warn you, in order to admit this piece of evidence into the court record, the princess's statement that she found it somewhere away from the scene has to be admitted as testimony. Yes, Your Honor, I'm well aware. The defense wishes to give the princess just one more chance. Of all the idiotic, foolish... Order! Very well, then. Your Highness, please testify once more about this new piece of evidence you found during your investigation. Thank you. I will not let you down this time. I promise. The princess should understand the gravity of the situation at hand now. I just hope the new evidence isn't damaging to our case. I hope the princess understands this gravy. My findings. I wish to express my most heartfelt apologies for my mistakes in the earlier testimony. Upon entering the ranch house, I saw the defendant passed out in front of the victim, who was bleeding out. I stood guard at the entrance of the ranch house till the Sheikah force arrived. Once the Sheikah started investigating the crime scene, I decided to take a look around the ranch. While I was walking near the silo, I noticed a strong odor in the air. I had to stop and see where it was coming from. I followed the scent and found a burned-out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. I, of course, took the bottle straight to the head detective. Yo, this fucking song. And here it is. The oil bottle I found. Is something wrong? Oh no, this might actually be completely irrelevant. Yes, well... Of course there is, foolish girl! That has nothing to do with anything! Your great finding is some random fire on a ranch? Please! What next? Are going to declare every rake on the premises suspicious? Well, Bro, if I was Zelda, I would have just started crying already. He's so fucking mean to her. She's 14. God damn, dude. Prosecution will calm down. Yes, he has the fucking, the emblem of light on his fucking gavel. This is bad. Your Honor, despite the fact that this evidence might not seem to add anything at the moment, the defense still asserts its right to a cross-examination. Some straws have been grasped. Why must you insist on this charade, defense? The princess has merely recounted the same view of the crimes as the head detective. You haven't been able to find any contradictions in her statements. I believe there might be a way to tie the princess's new evidence into the case. Ridiculous! Regardless of what the prosecution thinks, the defense does have a right to a cross-examination. The court admits the oil bottle into evidence. I just really hope this isn't a complete waste of time, defense. For both your own sake and your clients'. So, I don't think I'm going to do another BRB. I think when the 15 minutes are up here, hopefully I'll have a good stopping point. And I'll just have to finish this tomorrow afternoon. I wish to express my myself. There's no need to press the princess on her apology. You already wasted the chance to throw out her testimony. Yes, defense. Please get to the point. Yikes. Enter the ranch house, saw the defendant passed out. Was there anything else in the room? Only the beautiful little crystal bottle I mentioned before. The house was rather barren. Most of our things are on the top floor since the downstairs room is mostly used for ranch business these days. And the occasional game. Ah, yes, of course, Dad's famous Cucko game. The good old days. Stupid. Is the defense done reminiscing? There'll be plenty of time to do that when the defendant's behind bars. I was just trying to distract myself from the fact that there's nothing to latch onto here. I should guard the entrance of the ranch house, then she can force a ride. Did anything happen during that time? No, not that I recall. The guards did occasionally protest and asked me to let them take over, but I held my stance. Well, while commendable in theory, staying in the same room as a dangerous killer isn't very wise. What if she woke up and lashed out at you? Sweetheartly up above! That thought did not occur to me. Ah, of course not. Foolish girl! Jesus Christ. But the guards did stand close by. I would have been safe. Wonderful to see how much faith our princess has in our royal guard. Yes, of course I do. In any case... Once you can start investigating the crime scene, so I take a look around the ranch. You didn't just go home. The royal visitation was supposed to last a lot longer. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. Take a drink every time he says foolish girl. You fucking end up dead in a ditch. Yeah, you will perish, yeah. Father was not expecting us back at the castle until much later. I came to the ranch to examine the horses, so I supposed I could at least do that in the meantime. How long did... Sorry, this music's really fucking good. It's a good remix. How long did it take for the Sheikah to arrive at the scene? It does not take very long to make the trip from Hyrule Castle Town to Lon Lon Ranch. I cannot imagine it was more than 20 minutes. That is pretty fast. Although I imagine the fact that the princess was involved helped speed it up. Slowpokes! I would be there in half that time! Running backwards, even! I suppose that's no surprise, though. Harley and the horses are naturally inferior to our fine Gerudo steeds. The Gerudo buy horses from our ranch, too? You just don't bother. He's trying to rile you up. While I was walking to the silo, and there was a strong odor. What was the smell like? Oh, it was awful. I was reading that. A really terrible stench. Bah, surely you don't mean to say you found the smell of horse manure suspicious. Do not be ridiculous. The smell was not coming from the horses. I found a burned out fire nearby and a small, nearly empty bottle of lamp oil. A fire! Sorry, I'm gonna do a bit for just a second. I'm sorry. Bottle of lamp oil, huh? What about ropes? Bombs! Okay. Now let me remind you, Defense, that there's any number of reasons why a fire could have been there. You can still feel the cold grasp of death early in the morn. Princess, how long would you estimate the fire had been out before you found it? Ah, right. There was still smoke rising out of the ashes, so it must have been put out recently. So around the time of the crime. So someone prepared their breakfast there. I repeat, this fire is irrelevant. I think he's realized the same thing I did. Well, who was it? Who could have lit that fire anyway? It would have to have been the ranch worker who was putting the milk shipments together at the time. It was almost certainly him. If you really want to ask about his little barbecue, you might just get your wish soon. Doesn't sound like it was very appetizing. But without anything concrete to pin on him, he'll just be able to brush it off. I, of course, had the bottle straight from took the bottle straight to the detective. Okay. Right, and she allowed you to present it? Well, I was the one to find it, and since I was going to the trial anyway... Utter ridiculousness! Yes, please make this the last time you do something like this, Your Highness. Proper procedures exist for a reason. Yes, yes, I understand. Defense, I believe that is enough. Doesn't seem like you're getting any closer to finding a connection between this fire and the crime at all. No, I suppose not, Your Honor. Naturally! I've said this was a waste of time from the beginning! In that case, this cross-examination is over. Thank you for your time, Your Highness. I assume you have no more revelations to share with us. No, I do not. I really thought the fire would be important. Leave my sight! Jesus fucking Christ. Enough. Your Highness, if you'd allow me to escort you back to Hyrule Castle. Very well. You have no more Fire Emblem Fates revelations to share. No more than the... Now the princess's little game is over, we should move this along. The prosecution's stance is still the same, of course. We maintain that the evidence on its own is enough to convict the defendant. I do believe I am nearly ready to hand down my verdict. But, Your Honor, there's nothing that definitively shows that Malon committed the crime. This is all circumstantial. There's no way she could kill her own father. Oh, that is an excellent point, defense. The prosecution has yet to elaborate on the defendant's motive. Patricide is not something a person commits lightly. Bah! I did briefly touch on the subject during my opening statement. But naturally, the prosecution is fully prepared to elaborate on the matter. I would like to call in my third witness. That has to be that ranch worker. Before calling him in, though, the prosecution requests a brief recess to prepare. I thought you said you were already prepared. Maybe he wants to double-check that his new witness won't pull anything weird like the princess did. Very well, I do believe a break would benefit us all. The court will reconvene after a 15-minute recess. Court is adjourned. Wow, what a good stopping point. Holy shit. Yeah, assuming this is just like this this two-part trial here, maybe it's a three-parter. I assume there's not anything more than this, and there's no investigations or whatever. I'll probably finish this tomorrow, Lamau. But I'm hungry. I want yummy, yummy food in my tummy. So I'm gonna fuck off now. Thanks for watching.